Hey everyone, Mr. McLendon here, and I wanted to come to you today to show you how to find some of the resources that Southern Union has available for your research paper perusal and research and all that stuff. So what you need to do is first come to Southern Union, of course suscc.edu here. I will mention as we go on, if you want to watch this presentation in one window and follow along in the other, the best thing that you can do is go to your keyboard and hold down the Windows key and hit either left or right depending on how you want to set up your window, and then you can follow along with the presentation on one side and you can follow it yourself by doing your own activities on the other. Now I will note it on this video that my recording software does not actually record a cursor, so you'll sort of have to follow along with what appears on screen as opposed to seeing a mouse go wiggling about. So go up to current students here in the middle of the top middle of the page, go down to library, and then you'll need to click that, and you come to the overview here. Now what we're going to be looking for in this first video, we're going to concentrate on what you have on the resources page, and then we're going to go over the card catalog real quick. So you notice it talks about stuff that the library has on store, the Learning Resource Center if you want the official name. You've got the card catalog, you've got the Alabama Virtual Library, which we'll explain a little bit later, and you also have Miss Michelle Wimbish is the head librarian at the Opelika campus. If you have any questions about the library's holdings, you'd be best off contacting her. But first thing we're going to do is go to the resources page here on the left side. You click that, and you're going to come to a variety of links here. You see the handbook, policy manuals, and such for the library. What I want to point your attention to is some of the stuff you see below citation sites, right over here with all this that I'm mousing over. You see when you're working on your paper and you've done the research and everything, you see some sites here for APA formatting, MLA formatting, which is more English class style stuff. You also see you can do citations for APA and MLA based on these websites here, as well as you can actually go to sites that actually will do your citations for you. I would recommend you do them yourself because really there's no better way to learn than to do it yourself. Another thing that you'll notice is you do have some video guides here just in case you need a review as far as what to do with the virtual library, with the card catalog. We're going to be looking at the card catalog though, so if you want to use this video for that, that's perfectly fine as well. Alright, so go to online services to pull up stuff for the card catalog, and you notice you've got a few different things that you can look at here as well. We're not going to really worry about literature criticism and resource stuff for history papers, but we are going to worry about the card catalog, the virtual library, and then the ebook collections. You can actually only reference the ebook collections on campus, so if you're working from a computer from home, you're not going to be able to reference the ebooks there. You'll need to go to the Learning Resource Center on the Opelika campus to be able to do stuff about that. But let's go ahead and head over to the card catalog, which you do clicking here. And you see, basically this is your starting point. You've got CNN's latest news, you've got the Weather Channel, which we're really not going to worry about that. What we're more going to deal with is some of the stuff you see in the top left corner here, the quick search, the advanced search. Now, the account login can help you out if you do have a library account. I would recommend that you go talk to Ms. Wimbish or any of the folks at the library to get one set up if you haven't already. But if you don't really need it to do the search. You just might need to use the account to save stuff and be able to do a bit more with the library holdings. So, you've got the stuff up here at the top with the quick search. Now, one thing I will mention in regards to the search, you can use this, but you do need to be careful about what you find, because you can click in and type stuff in here. I tried to shoot this video before and it ended up not working out very well, so I've got Alexander the Great saved up. Let's go ahead and click that. Now you might be thinking, okay, all I really need to do is type that in and just click go. Alright, so you click go and you find some of the stuff that you have on screen here. Now the first entry seems pretty good because it's Masters of the Battlefield about Alexander and company. Then you've got Cleopatra, but she was alive long after Alexander was, so that won't help that much. Then you've got Sam Adams. who of course was not even close to the time of Alexander the Great. Then you've got Afghanistan, talking about the country from Alexander the Great onward, which can be sort of useful but not so much. And then you've got, yeah, you get my point. Just because you type in a subject and hit quick search does not mean you're going to be able to find everything you need to find. So what you're better off doing, as we go back here, is you can do a couple of things really. If you want to continue using the quick search, which is nice and convenient, you can type in your subject matter here. So let's go ahead and get Alex back in. But I would point your attention to the drop-down box next to it, which hosts author, title, you see subject, and you see a bunch of other stuff down here. We're not going to worry about that. What you're mostly going to need to concern yourself with is the author and title and the subject stuff, because usually this will narrow your search about as much as you need it to be narrowed, especially when it comes to your basic research paper type stuff. So we're going to go ahead and put Alexander the Great in the subject and see what this does. Alright, so we've got 16 sources here. We've got Alexander the Great and his world. We've got Alexander the Great, a biography. We've got Alexander the Great, killer of men, another biography, I would assume. Then you've got the hunt for a new past. You've got the Greeks at war from Athens to Alexander, which can help. So in other words, you've got a lot of different sources here that are much more relevant. Now, I will mention also, you can look at the information area here at the bottom, and you notice this is at Southern Union's campus, or at the Opelika campus rather. It is available. You see with Alexander the Great another one. It is also available. But you see also this one is checked out. So when you look at some of these books, you can get a notion of whether they're actually available or not and which campus they're at. If they're at the Opelika campus, you can go ahead and go get them. If they're at another campus, you can go talk to the librarians and they will be able to get them for you. You do need to give them a couple of days though, because it does take some time for them to get down from Wadley or from Valley over to Opelika and vice versa. Now, if you want to look at more details about each of these entries, you can just click the link and it'll give you pretty much all the information you kind of need. The title list, you look at all this stuff here, much of which may not make a whole lot of sense, but you see the year of the author, you see the title, you see the publication date, and some of the various and sundry details you need there. Okay, let's go out of that one. And you can also space to some of the others and do pretty much the same thing. Now, say you look at this and you go, oh, well, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. Well, there's a couple of things you can do with that. First off, if you've got a printer nearby or you're at a computer that has a printer, you can go ahead and print it out just by clicking that, and it'll bring up the requisite boxes. You can use that, have that on hand, keep that paper with you, and all that razzmatazz. You can also email it to yourself if you want to. Now, that one, obviously you need a good email address with that. If you are not using your Southern Union email address for that, I would recommend you do so now. And that should be pretty much good to go. Now for the save feature, I think you need to have a membership. You need to have an account in order to be able to save it, because if you just save it as Random Joe Smo, it's going to kick it back out, and then you're going to need to come back and do it again. So you need to probably have an account to really do the saving stuff. But the rest of it you should be able to just go ahead and do. Another thing I will mention, if you want to start over or change your search and such, you can do that here. Okay, so that's the quick search, a little bit better. Then you have the advanced search here, which you can click this, and it will take you to a slightly more complex looking set of circumstances there. Now, what's the point of this? Well, say you've chosen a very specific topic. Say, for instance, and you see a couple of things that I put down for other attempts at this filming. Say we're going to do, perhaps you wanted to talk about ancient Egypt. But you don't want to just talk about ancient Egypt. You want to talk about Egypt and say the goddess Isis, for instance. Now, this advanced search is a good way that you can use to actually narrow things down. If you want to be able to distinguish between one subject or another, then that's the best way to do it. I'll go ahead and hit subject for all of these because you still need to deal with this sort of thing just in case, even if it's an advanced sort of search. And then, obviously, search, and I narrowed it a little too much because I don't have any results. That having been said, though, if you do want to focus on more of a specific subject, you can give this a shot. as far as trying to find information. And even if it doesn't work, that's okay. At least you've done something. At least you've gotten something started there. All right, so we've pretty much taken care of the quick search and the advanced search and such for the libraries. So that should have you pretty well good to go as far as your card catalog sorts of selections from the library. Of course, they tell you that ebooks are available as well. Like I mentioned, you can only really do those on Southern Union systems. You can't do that at home, unfortunately. That'd be nice, though. All right, so we'll go ahead and stop this here. And in the next video, I'm going to go a little bit more over the Alabama Virtual Library and some of the ebook holdings and things that you can do from some of the more general online types of sources. So, thank you guys for joining me for this presentation, and I will see you guys in class.